Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just Force 911, where we look at the way our public officials do their job or do not do their job correctly. So, this video is from Avaya Israel, which is We the People University. Go over, show him some love, hit his subscribe button, and check out his videos. He has some really awesome videos. And while you're there, check out his ebook on the dealing with police in this day and age. I really hate that comment, this day and age. Ugh. There's some other ones that are just as bad, like, do you have ID? Oh, of course I have ID, you moron. I'm just not going to give it to you because I haven't broken the law, and that is the law. Anyhow, hey, and while you're doing that, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, smash the like button, and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's your opinion. And also leave me a comment. I love comments from you guys. I love to read them. My other half thinks I'm out of my mind because it takes too much time, but I actually enjoy it. It tells me, I have my haters that just for some reason have nothing better to do with their life than just hammer on people. And then I have people that are very happy that I'm doing this, and I have those who send me information. And I have actually put 2 videos out from my subscribers that sent me information. So, guys, trust me, I'm in on this. This has to stop. This is getting to the point of absolutely insanity. And if we keep this up at the rate we're going, there's not going to be United States left because it's all going to be trashed. We need to get these bad cops out of our system. We need to get the bad law enforcement out of our system. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be overnight. I need all the good citizens out there that are really caring about this, that want to help, to start going to your public meetings, holding your political elected officials or those that have been appointed accountable for their actions. There was a young lady in Surprise, Arizona, who was scheduled to speak at a city council meeting, did so, and the mayor had her arrested because she was not following their guidelines and rules. So he stomped on her on her First Amendment rights, had her arrested, which got into Fourth and 14th Amendment violations. This has to stop, guys. This can't go on. Today's video from Avira is Kevin Hinton, Hinton, 65-year-old grandfather who was up seeing his brand new granddaughter. And on his 12-hour track back to his home, he stopped at a park to get some rest because he was starting to fall asleep and didn't want to fall asleep behind the wheel. Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much for doing the right thing. That being said, a overzealous sergeant, deputy, sheriff's deputy, demanded ID. And he asked what he was doing wrong. He was pulled out of the car. Several broken bones, meaning ribs that were dislocated from his sternum. I don't know how much to get into this. Beaten, shoved in the ground by an overzealous cop who 4 months earlier, a judge had said that he was a menace to the county. And you'll see this in the video. Guys, this stuff has to stop. These overzealous clowns in a uniform with this badge and a gun, they need to turn their badges in, they need to turn their guns in, and they need to go somewhere else and work because they have no business being in law enforcement. You idiots work for us. Get it through your thick skulls. We pay your salary. We hire you to do a job and do it correctly. You buttheads took an oath to the Constitution of the United States to do the right thing. And you better start doing it because we're going to hold you accountable for it. all the citizens out there that are hearing my voice that agree, and all the good cops that agree. And they're out there, trust me. And they're slowly making a movement. Because this is ridiculous. Why we have to pay for your stupidity. If you can't be a cop and do it correctly, or an officer, then you shouldn't be one. Take your ego, stick it up your butt, get your head out of there, and do the right thing. This sergeant needs to turn his gun and his badge in and go find something else to do, because he's a low-life scumbag that doesn't deserve to be an officer. Yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again. You are a low-life scumbag. Beating up on a 65-year-old man who is doing the right thing and stopping his vehicle and getting some rest. And you have to be a complete and total butthead. There's no room for you clowns anymore. You're going to go bye-bye. Either with our help or all by yourself. It makes no difference to us. But it's about time. Okay, guys, we're going to jump over to the video. Like I said, go to Aviver's page. Check him out. He does a great job. He really does. He gives you a lot of information. Me, I'm just a commentator. I tell you what I think, and I call for getting these clowns out of our employment. Because that's what it is, folks. You and I pay our taxes. We hire these clowns to do a job, and they're not doing it. If they work directly for you, would you allow this? If you say yes, then you're an idiot. They have a hard job to do. They should do it safely and do it correctly. If not, then they're gone. Subscribe to my page and check this out, and we'll talk some more at the end. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
62-year-old was on his way home from Oregon after meeting his newly born granddaughter. He pulled into the parking lot of Terrace View Park to rest during his 12-hour road trip, a decision that led to a violent arrest where he thought he was going to die. Hinton has filed a federal lawsuit saying there are systemic failures in the sheriff's office and the county when it comes to keeping citizens safe. The lawsuit also claims that Sergeant Hinton was actually involved in a previous excessive force complaint 3 months prior to this incident. A case where Judge George Fearing wrote this about Sergeant Hilton, suggesting, quote, he works as a law enforcement officer not to serve others and benefit the Spokane community, but to intimidate and dominate.
So I personally want to take a second and apologize to Mr. Hinton because he actually emailed me concerning this case like the end of last year. I think it was December. And I received so many emails that sometimes they get lost, and I did not see this email. And when I did, I watched it, I read the email, and then I looked up the case, and I saw that there was an update to this particular situation, and a federal lawsuit has been filed. But for those of you guys who have not seen this video or don't fully know what's going on with it, let's play this news clip and come back and let's discuss a bit.
And we're about to show you body camera footage from that night. We do want to warn you that it is graphic. Kevin Hinton was arrested because he was in a Spokane Valley park after dark. Hinton told Spokane Deputy Clay Hilton that he'd move his car and find another place to go, but Sergeant Hilton wouldn't let him go until he showed his ID.
So I read it all the time down below in the comment section that identification is like a drug to police officers. And it is, but the question is why? Why would they go to such extreme lengths to get your identification? And for those of you who may not know, I'm sure most of you guys do, but for the sake of those who don't, the NCIC is the reason they do this. I want to read something really quickly. The NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center, is a computerized index of missing persons and criminal justice information and is designed for the rapid exchange of information between criminal justice agencies. Users access the NCIC computer located at the FBI headquarters through regional or state computer systems or with direct tie-ins to the NCIC computer. So what it all really stems towards is the fact that you're supposed to be entered into a system so you can always be tracked. Every traffic stop, every encounter which lawfully is not every encounter, but in the minds of police officers, every encounter has to end with them getting your ID, whether you're breaking the law or not. Now, the law states you have to be suspected of committing a crime. We understand that. But that's not how police officers are trained. I don't think most police know the bigger plan here. They're just trained this way in the academy. Get the ID, enter them into the database. That way we can track everyone.
Hinton refused, and the situation escalated, and Hinton was pulled out of the car and struck several times by the sergeant. Hinton suffered several injuries, including several broken ribs, a concussion, and a punctured lung. More than a year later, Hinton is fighting for justice.
He shared his experience from that night with us for the first time in a one-on-one interview with Jordan Smith, who joins us in studio tonight with new details on this story, Jordan.
Yeah, Kevin Hinton, that violent arrest changed him forever. The 62-year-old was on his way home from Oregon after meeting his newly born granddaughter. He pulled into the parking lot of Terrace View Park to rest during his 12-hour road trip, a decision that led to a violent arrest where he thought he was going to die. How often do you think back to that night?
Every day. Every breath I take, kind of. I mean, and every time I lick my lips, I mean, it's just not going away.
Hinton says systemic failures led to his civil rights being violated that night.
You're under arrest. Get on the ground.
While in handcuffs, Hinton was evaluated by medics. They cleared him to be taken to the Spokane County Jail, not the hospital.
It was excruciatingly painful to get in and out of that police car. I literally thought I was dying. I mean, that was my thought at that point.
The jail refused to admit him, sending him straight to the emergency room.
It sounds as if the jail was the only responsible entity in this situation. I mean, outside of Mr. Hinton, because the paramedics, they came and they assessed this guy on the scene and they cleared him to go to jail. Now, let me say this about paramedics, seeing as though I was a paramedic, and when I worked in law enforcement, I also worked alongside paramedics. A lot of those guys are just friends and they're buddies, okay? Officers are friends with paramedics, paramedics are friends with officers, and that's the way it goes. So when medics show up to the scene and they take this quick assessment, when they get there, the reason it's so quick and careless is because the police officer tells the medic, hey, yeah, we got a guy, he was refusing, and it's a good conversation. Yeah, he's fine, take him in. And that's the way it goes. But once he got to the jail, you know, luckily someone there was like, hey, no, something's wrong with this guy. He needs to go to the hospital. So not only does the police department need to be held accountable, I would say those medics on that scene also need to be held accountable in this situation.
That's where Hinton learned several ribs had actually been separated from his sternum. His recovery process was agonizing.
Getting up to go to the bathroom was a challenge.
Spokane police investigated the incident and recommended second-degree assault charges against Sergeant Hilton. It was then sent to the Yakima County prosecutor for review, and 6 months later, no charges had been recommended from their office.
If that would have been you or I would have been in jail that night and still in jail. You know, he should have been relieved of duty immediately and dealt with accordingly.
Hinton has filed a federal lawsuit saying there are systemic failures in the sheriff's office and the county when it comes to keeping citizens safe. The lawsuit also claims that Sergeant Hinton was actually involved in a previous excessive force complaint 3 months prior to this incident, a case where Judge George Fearing wrote this about Sergeant Hilton, suggesting, quote, he works as a law enforcement officer not to serve others and benefit the Spokane community, but to intimidate and dominate.
It's time for some justice in this.
The Spokane County Sheriff's Office did not return our request for comment on this. Meanwhile, the Yakima County prosecutor told us they'd provide an update on where they're at this process in terms of getting charges out by lunchtime. We reached out again and never heard back. So a lot of moving pieces in this lawsuit.
So as we see, Sergeant Hilton of the Spokane Valley Police Department is no stranger when it comes down to this type of behavior. Even a judge agreed that this guy is out to dominate citizens. And so if he's out to dominate and he's no stranger to this, then it's obvious, it's blatant, it's common sense that the Spokane Valley Police Department knows what type of sergeant they have on their staff, but yet and still, they're letting him roam free to terrorize citizens. But to be more detailed, this sergeant works for the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, who also contracts with the Spokane Valley Police Department. So as a deputy, he can work as a police officer, which is why the lawsuit actually holds both departments accountable. And not only both departments, but American Medical Response, the ambulance service who cleared Mr. Hinton to go to jail when he actually had broken ribs, concussions, and let me see, what did I miss? Punctured lungs. So there were several things wrong with Mr. Hinton, and they cleared him to go to jail when they should have told the police to take him to the hospital. This is, again, and I always say this, record, record, record. Without this video evidence from the body cam, who knows how far this case would have or would not have went. Make sure you record the police. Always know your rights. With that being said, We the People University, signing off. If you're
Okay, guys. So, couple things. This thin blue line where they all stick together has to stop. This blue shield they hide behind that's promoted by the police unions, this has to stop. This officer is not a rogue entity, okay? The officers only act like their leadership. And if you think I'm lying, go look around. If you have a good chief or a good sheriff, then you got great officers. Because they will not allow these kind of shenanigans to go on. If the sheriff doesn't care or is a bad officer himself or a chief, all his officers are going to be the same way. Well, I shouldn't say all of them. That's not fair. The majority of them will be. And that's just the way the facts are. My father was in law enforcement as a deputy, so believe it or not, I actually do know what I'm talking about. Also, Spokane County, you guys are the ones that are going to have to pay for this. You taxpayers. Are you okay with this? Is this okay with you? Is this where you want your tax dollars going? To pay for this clown's lawsuit? You shouldn't be. You should be outraged. You should be up your mayor's butt to get this under control, to get this taken care of, so this never, ever happens again. Because they're going to have to pay for it. The taxpayers of Spokane County. Congratulations. And you think this one's going to be cheap? I guarantee you this is going to be in the high seven figures. It's insane, people. Absolutely insane. And you have the naysayers out there go, well, the insurance company will pay for it. That doesn't matter. It still comes out of the taxpayers' money because we have to pay that insurance policy. And you think that insurance policy is not going to go up? What kind of a moron are you? Get in a traffic accident, see if your insurance goes up. Yeah, it does. Anyway, subscribe to We the People University. Check out his ebook. Also, I think Variah has a brand new book out that you can buy on Amazon Books and other book selling places. It's a good read. Check it out. Go to my site. Subscribe, please. Leave a comment and a thumbs up if you'd like, or a thumbs down. It's your opinion. But, guys, it's time. We need to get this taken care of. We need to get these bad cops off the street. They don't need to be in law enforcement anymore. They need to be stripped of their certification so they can't go in somewhere else. And, yeah, if they want to be a dog, well, no, we don't want to do that to puppy dogs because they'll be abused too. No, they just need to be out of public service and go get a job at Walmart. I don't know. Maybe the tire center can use you. Oh, because you're definitely not a people person. Anyhow, guys, like I said, subscribe. Get yourself involved in your community. I'm telling you, it's out of control. It's way out of control. It needs to be taken care of. So anyway, guys, if you would, subscribe, and I will talk to you again on the next video. Thank you, and God bless.